Hello once again, family, friends, and movie lovers. Jeffrey Michael here, and welcome to a predatorial edition of Jeffrey Michael's Movie Reviews Extravaganza. Once again, I must apologize for the delay, ladies and germs. I just got back from a trip to LA, which was wonderful, by the way, of course. And when I got back, I had to rest up and get back to my regular schedule, and I fell by the wayside, and I'm once again late on my movie reviews. I apologize to you all for the delay. So let's not waste any more time. In this video, I'll be reviewing the movies that were released on September the 14th, 2018. All right, the first film that I'll review for you is The Predator, rated R. It stars Boyd Holbrook, Olivia Munn, Sterling K. Brown, and Jacob Tremblay, and was directed by Shane Black, who already brought you such films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, and The Nice Guys. Now, The Predator is the sixth film in the Predator franchise. Yep, it all started back in the 80s with Predator and Predator 2. I never got to see those movies, but I did get to see the next ones in the lineup, Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem. But let's just pretend those movies never happened, okay? We good? And then came 2010's Predators, and finally this movie, The Predator. So The Predator starts off, we're in Mexico, and we're introduced to a group of army soldiers who are in the middle of a hostage retrieval mission. And then a Predator spaceship crash lands in the vicinity, and a Predator comes out and he wipes out most of the army. And it's then that their sniper, Quinn McKenna, played by Boyd Holbrook, manages to incapacitate the Predator, seemingly killing it. And then as he examines the body, he takes off the armor and its helmet, and because the government's coming quick to clean up the place, get the spaceship and the body, Quinn decides to take that armor and helmet and mail it off back to his home so he can hang on to it. And so it's then when a package arrives back at his family's home in America, and his son Rory, who's autistic, examines the armor and the helmet, takes it out. This is cool. And meanwhile, a government agent, Will Traeger, played by Sterling K. Brown, takes Quinn in for examination and the spaceship and the body to a lab somewhere in America, a top secret classified location. And it's at that lab that we're introduced to evolutionary biologist Casey Brackett, who's played by Olivia Munn. And we see that the body, it's then that the body we thought was dead all of a sudden comes back to life and starts, demolishing all the people in the lab, bloodies them up and rips them apart, and it's a lot of blood and guts, Cavallo. And miraculously, Dr. Casey Brackett manages to survive that attack, and Quinn, who is bussed in, with a bunch of other PTSD soldiers who are also, picked up by the government for wrongful deeds. It's then that the Predator breaks out of the lab, and it's then that the soldiers manages to overtake the bus and get themselves out of there, and they're joined by the Dr. Casey, and then they all have to decide, we have to work together, we gotta get that Predator back and find out what it's up to. And apparently that Predator is going, using its technology to track down its stolen armor and helmet, who's now in the hands of, the Quinn's son Rory. And it's like, oh, great father giving alien technology to his son that's now an alien's coming to kill him. And so that's what they have to do. They have to work together to track down that Predator and stop him from, getting that armor and helmet. And meanwhile, there's another spaceship arriving with even stronger Predator. And we find out that there's more to these Predators than meets the eye. I'm not going to reveal to you what's up. So can they stop these Predators before, the days before they destroy humanity? Overall, this movie was all right at best. I mean, it wants to try to rejuvenate the mythology of the Predator, franchise, but I feel like it was just no more than a mindless action film with a lot of humor. I was surprised by that. There's a lot of humor. Like, I was hoping that'd be more, serious, but then, there's a lot of slapstick and jokes, almost every other minute, and it's like, okay, are you watching an action movie or comedy or both, or I'm not sure. I mean, it's a confusing tone, to be sure. I mean, it offers everything that you expect from a Predator movie by now, everyone. It's got, mindless action, a lot of blood and guts, a lot of bloody R-rated action. and bad acting and somewhat good special effects. And but I don't know, it's more humorous than I thought it was going to be, and not that that's bad. I mean, it's still an entertaining movie. It's just it's mindless entertainment. I mean, it's not the kind that you're going to want to see again and again. So for my grade, I would give this one a C plus. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit above average, but that's about it. Would I recommend you all go see it? If you're a fan of the Predator movies, then for sure, go ahead and see it. Otherwise, I don't know if I recommend it to anyone, especially if you're squeamish about R-rated violence. You know, that's a number one problem you would have with this movie then. Overall, see it if you're a fan, but don't see it if you're not. So that's about it. Moving on. The next film that I'll review for you is A Simple Favor, rated R. It stars Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively, and Henry Golding, and was directed by Paul Feig, who already brought you such great films like Bridesmaids, The Heat, and Spy. Now, A Simple Favor is based on the novel by Darcy Bell. We're introduced to our main character, Stephanie Smothers, played by Anna Kendrick. She's a single mom with a little boy named Miles, and she runs an internet vlog where she talks about how to do recipes and make crafts for all her internet fans. But she's also lonely because we find out that she's a widow who lost both her husband and her brother in an auto accident. And one day when she's picking up her son at school, she meets a new girl there who's picking up her son, Nikki. Her name is Emily, and she's played by Blake Lively. And she's enamored by her. Like, everything about her is she likes. Like, Emily dresses fashionably, and she's a PR director for a fashion company, and she has an exquisite house. And her husband, Sean, played by Henry Golding, who you know from Crazy Rich Asians, works as an English professor. And also the other thing about Emily that she loves, or we all love the audience, is she has no filter. Basically, whatever she's thinking in her mind comes out of her mouth. So she drops a lot of F-bombs and says, "My kid's stupid, but I love him." Stuff like that. Like, she's like, "Whoa, did she just say that? I like her." And so does Stephanie. In fact, Stephanie decides, "Hey, let's hang out some more. Let's schedule some play dates so our sons can hang out and we can sip some champagne and talk about confess our confessions." And Stephanie's got a whopper of confessions. Where do you find that out? But Emily talks about how even though everything seems perfect for her, their financial situation is, going dire, her and her husband, and they might lose their home if they're not careful. And then, time goes by and they become good friends. And one day, just like an ordinary day, Emily calls up Stephanie, "Hey, can you do me a simple favor? And pick up my son after school and take him back to your house?" "Sure, of course, Emily. Yeah, I got called away for a work thing." So Stephanie picks up Emily's son, Nicky, and takes him back to her house, and she waits for Emily to call her back, and a day goes by, and then 2 days, and she calls up, Emily's fashion company. "Hey, where's Emily?" "Oh, she said she's in Miami." "Miami?" So then she calls up Emily's husband, Sean. "Hey, do you know where Emily is? He's away in London during this time." "No, she hasn't called you." "No, not at all. I have her son here." And so then the police are called, and it's like, "Where's Emily?" No one has seen or heard from her, and suspicion starts to creep in. Was the husband involved? Was it someone else? It's a mystery, and Stephanie, who loves Emily so much, is determined to find out what happened to Emily. Of course, I can't reveal that to you because that would be spoilers, and I'm not that guy. Overall, this movie, I actually had a good time watching. I thought it was very entertaining. And the acting, oh my god, Blake Lively is the perfect person to play Emily. I mean, she makes her, like, you just want to fall in love with her. She's, intimidating and dominating, and, she has no fear, and, Stephanie's enamored by her, and so are we, the audience. And Anna Kendrick does a great job, too, playing the Stephanie, the one who's so lonely and just wants a companion or someone to, she can, love again after losing so much. And, yeah, I mean, it's, suspenseful, and the whole time you're like, what happened here? You're trying to figure out what happened. And also there's some dark humor, a lot of that. I was actually surprised by that because there are moments where, it's supposed to be serious, and all of a sudden someone like makes a dark joke, and you can't like, should I laugh or should I like? You can't help but laugh, but it's also kind of jarring that someone would make a joke at the time like this. And that would be my quibble. Some of you watching this movie might be distracted by the humor might be a bit off for you, but I thought it worked well with the it's a silly, absurd concept to begin with, and so adding the dark humor I think helps it. And I also thought, some of the twists at the very end, it's kind of, okay, now we're kind of venturing into campy, maybe to lose the audience at this point. But I actually didn't mind that so much since I was so entertained from, beginning to end. I don't think there was a part where it became dull at all, I thought. And overall, I'd give my grade a B+. I really enjoyed watching this movie despite its, couple quibbles, like, for example, the ending twists are kind of out there and, a couple tone issues, but that was minor things because, it was entertaining, like I said, from start to finish, and I would recommend that you all go see it too. You might also be like, oh, Jeff, this was not as much good as I thought it was, but I thought it was, so, give it a chance. I recommend it, you all go see it. So if you would all mind doing me one simple favor and go see this movie, please. Moving on then. Okay, the last movie that I'll review for you is White Boy Rick, rated R. It stars Richie Merritt and Matthew McConaughey and was directed by Jan Dimage, who already brought you the film 71. Now, White Boy Rick is inspired by the true life story of Rick Warshie Jr., also known as White Boy Rick. He grew up as a teenager in Detroit in the 1980s. Anybody who lives around Detroit nowadays knows that Detroit is making a huge comeback. But back in the 80s, Detroit was going through a crack epidemic and a war on drugs, like a lot of major cities during the time. And unfortunately, White Boy Rick, or Rick Warshie, was caught up in that as a teen. Yeah, he grew up in a blue-collar family with his father, Rick Warshie Sr., played by Matthew McConaughey, and his sister and his grandparents. And as a teenager, he, dropped out of school and, he was trying to get by. And his father, his dream was to open a video store. Remember those? And unfortunately, the teenager was involved with a lot of bad, people at the time. A bunch of black friends who dubbed him White Boy Rick. And a lot of them are involved in drugs. And there's a drug kingpin that, becomes friends with. And it's not long before FBI agents come in and take him in and say, hey, we need an informant. You want to be that kid? What? I'm only 14. And so he becomes an FBI informant, and he helps them bring down these drug lords and these drug dealers. And then, his time is done, and the family falls on hard times, and he makes some bad decisions, like taking the grandparents' car out one time and gets it damaged. He didn't have a license. And he also found out that he has an illegitimate daughter with one of his black friends, and he has a daughter that he has to take care of as a baby. It's like, Dad, we have to do stuff together. Let's deal drugs, we might as well. Everyone else is. And let's be a family again. Come on, Dad, we can do it. And, being the good dad that he is, he says, okay, so let's do that. And so he then becomes a drug dealer and a drug kingpin. The family comes together. The sister, manages to get clean again. And, everyone's all one big happy family, him and his daughter, and they're all good until everything goes bad. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of the movie for you guys, but if you know the true life story, it does not end well for him. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good movie, actually. I mean, the acting in particular by Matthew McConaughey, he does such a great job. I mean, he used to be known for those bad romantic comedies in the 90s, and ever since Dallas Buyers Club, where he won the Oscar, he's really come a long way, showing all of us what a great actor he is when he gets the right material. And he does a great job playing the dad, and the newcomer Richie Merritt, who plays White Boy Rick, also does a great job playing this confused teenager trying to make his way in the world the only way he knows how, because he grew up in a bad city with a lot of bad, surround environment. And, the story doesn't go well, and you realize that he's not a violent person at all. He just made a bad kid who made bad decisions, but should he be punished for decades in prison? I mean, that's the course, message to be had in this story, separated from his baby mama and his daughter, and it's just a overall sad story. Unfortunately, my quibble with the movie is I feel like it plays it too safe at times. Like you're in a movie that's set in Detroit in the 80s and there's, crack and drugs and violence, and I feel like it wasn't gritty enough. Like they should have gone more, like showing some actual like drug dealings going down, or like the montage sequence blows through past a lot of that stuff, and it's like, come on, we need to see more grit, more. It's a tough story, so let's go a little bit more tough with the material. I mean, it's a pretty good movie. It's just not great. So my grade for it, I'd give it a B minus. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's just it could have been better than it was because the acting and the story are strong enough. It's just needed more to it, if that makes any sense, like more oomph, if you will. Would I recommend you all go see it? If you live in and around Detroit, it's a good movie to watch to remind you of what Detroit used to be like and how it's vastly improving now. And it's always good to learn your history, your Michigan history, and but see if you really want to. Otherwise, maybe catch it for free on TV if you want to see it. Otherwise, go see it if you want to. That's all I can say then. Moving on. Hey everyone, can you all do me a simple favor and stick around for the recap? Recap: The Predator, C+. Despite trying to expand on the mythology of the Predator franchise, it's just mindless action, lots of humor, and questionable acting. Unless you're a Predator fan, I don't recommend this one. A Simple Favor, B+. An entertaining mystery thriller with solid direction, dark humor, and amazing acting from the two female leads. I recommend that everyone go see this one. And finally, White Boy Rick, B-. Despite their best efforts to tell a true life story with great acting, I still felt it needed a stronger story and more grit. You can go see this one if you want to, but I somewhat recommend it. And that'll do it for a predatorial edition of Jeffrey Michaels Movie Reviews Extravaganza. Until next time, happy movie watching, everybody. See y'all real soon, I promise.